It's Eric Previn, a city resident from District 2, and tough act to follow, naturally. I would like to say to the fire department, we do appreciate all of your efforts to keep us safe, and I am a big fan of the fire department's efforts. I will say that some of the surplus property associated with the city fire department over the last few years has come onto the market and then moved very quickly off the market. And my concern was that it used to be in 2008, it was money that was to be earmarked for special fire funds. Now it's hard to follow. There was one incident on the 4230 Coldwater Canyon decommissioned firehouse that the money went to GSD, and we're having a hard time locating it exactly. That's a question really for the auditor controller, who clearly is a little bit understaffed on that. The good news is, from your team, this year, 2014-15, there was a $25 million constant staffing overtime charge that we are going to be remedying with the very generous $55 million increase to your budget, so that will be finally taken care of. And I think it's worth noting that the police department, who I'm not going to talk about much because they come back on another day, had a $73 million constant staffing overtime charge, which is frankly worrisome and painful from 2014-15, and I assume we will address that as well. The question of revenue for the city is so important, and I think that it's always great to drive revenue if it's not pernicious revenue aimed at the constituents and the public, like fines, penalties, and fees like that. The liens that we deal with at the city council meeting on properties are obviously not the good kind. Obviously, if we can, for example, at the 4230 Coldwater property, take 10% of that development and fold that into revenue that we can then use for fire needs, that's obviously good kind of revenue because we're building into the growth of our communities. I would say that regarding the administrative citation, I believe it's called enforcement program, that Mr. Englander hit the drum for a year ago, it's finally come forward. I'm very upset about this because this means that the city attorney who's running the program is going to be reaching out into the community and finding little ways to collect with our partner in citation collection, which is obviously Xerox, who have done a robust job. But the $157 million in revenue that we'll be getting, I think that we just got. Is that it for the time?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Actually, that's the only opportunity you'll have. The next speaker is Armando Herman, followed